Hi there, she said it again, recordings in progress. Joseph Carabas here. If you've been following along on these, you probably know that by now. And if you haven't been following along, shame on you. Before I get into the heart of this, which is actually going to be, I have to look it up. Hang on a second. This is going to be on, where is it? Blurbs, pitches, and but then except. Before I get there, I want to make a note that probably by the time this particular video hits the world, my next nonfiction title, I Think You Do Volume 2, possibly almost all romance and relationship pieces, will be either ready to go or available. I would desperately love to have first readers who will look at it and let me know what they think. Maybe some, teaser content, maybe write a review, maybe do me a favor. That done and said. Did I mention we're listening to Alan Stivell, childhood prodigy and genius of the Celtic harp? Amazing work. Okay. So we're going to go back to blurbs, pitches, and but then except. The reason I'm thinking about this now is because I'm about to begin marketing one of my previous titles, Empty Sky, which has sold relatively well. As always, love to have it sold better. So go out and get a copy, so it'll sell better. And in the process of researching how to increase sales, of course, I began looking at the blurb for the book and all that kind of stuff, the teaser content. And I did the foolish thing, I say foolish, of using some tools to find out what Amazon thinks are comparable books to Empty Sky. If you don't know, and you should, I'm getting a copy now. Wahaha, Empty Sky. Let me move this out of the way so I can see what I'm telling you. Yes, there it is, Empty Sky. Empty Sky is about a young boy. He's constructing the blurb as he goes here. Jamie McPherson, young boy, whose mother has gone missing for about a year, maybe longer. His dad is going in and out of some kind of mysterious coma. All he has in the world to rely on is his faithful but aging dog, Shem. And when his father goes into a coma, one of the people who comes to take his father to the hospital is this character called Grey Wolf. And that's where things begin to get interesting, because Grey Wolf essentially says to Jamie, or demonstrates to Jamie, that the moon would like Jamie to help her save the world's dreams, to make sure the world has hope. And one of the things Grey Wolf explains to Jamie is, you have the dream of finding your mother. You have the dream of your dad being well and being his old self again. Those are hopes. And unless you are willing to let others hope, how can we allow you to hope? How can you allow yourself to hope? Which I think is an awful lot to drop on a kid. However, that's the way it is. So I'm constructing this, and I'm looking at what Amazon thinks, or what these tools think are similar titles. One of which is, I'm going to look this up now, When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly, and I'll put a link in the post to this book. Cover is beautiful, by the way. I have to say that. Evidently, Vanessa Vida Kelly did all the artwork. It's a graphic novel. I really can't figure out why these tools that the two books were similar, except I found this book kind of fascinating because of its blurb. Not viable, but fascinating as an example. The Shape of Water meets The Greatest Showman in this beautifully illustrated, queer, historical, cozy fantasy. As a young Puerto Rican immigrant goes through a journey of love and self-discovery after capturing a merman for a Coney Island sideshow act in turn of the 20th century New York. 2.5 lines of text. Seems kind of long. Let me share with you what a blurb is. This is the perfect setting for a pitch. And I said blurb, I meant pitch. This is the perfect concept of a pitch, supposedly. In a setting, a protagonist has a problem caused by an antagonist and faces conflict as they try to achieve a goal. And I'm going to go back to the first line of the blurb for When the Tides Held the Moon, because it has so much information in there and it's so beautifully constructed. While it does not follow the perfect pitch concept or method, The Shape of Water meets The Greatest Showman. So if you like those books, or you have any clue what those books are about, or those movies, whatever, you're already here. You get the information you need. Personally, The Greatest Showman blew me away. The play, okay, the stage production. Beautifully illustrated, okay. Queer, historical, cozy fantasy. I personally could have cared less about the queer aspect. It adds something, but to me, it doesn't add anything that would interest me. But I do recognize queer's historical, cozy fantasy. That puts the book on a very specific shelf. That is brilliant. That really is brilliant. As a young Puerto Rican immigrant, there's your protagonist, 20th century New York. There's the setting. Goes through a journey of love and self-discovery. There is he has to look this up again, hang on. There is the problem. After capturing a merman for a Coney Island sideshow act in terms. Okay, so you have everything there. So in my estimation, that opening line, which is not actually part of the blurb, it's just an opening line they have there in the Amazon thing, is really brilliant in the amount of information it conveys. That would be an excellent demonstration of how to write a pitch. Possibly. I like it. I would use it as a model. But also how to shape a blurb, how to get somebody's attention, how to give them as much information as possible in a shorter period of time so they can make a decision to act. Either yes or no, but they will act. If any of you have studied language theory, yeah, I know, I've studied a lot. One of the things you know is that jargon evolves to convey the maximum amount of information in the minimum amount of time. That's why doctors speak and lawyers speak and engineers speak, have all those wonderful terms that we just hear one of them and go, oh, wow, that sounds good. That's why they have all those wonderful terms, because it's a jargon and it's designed to provide as much information in a small amount of time as possible so a decision can be made. This actually fits that. Shape of Water meets The Greatest Showman. Beautifully illustrated. Queer, historical, cozy fantasy. Young Puerto Rican immigrant okay, let's stop it. A young Puerto Rican immigrant goes through a journey of love and self-discovery after capturing a merman for a Coney Island sideshow act in the 20th century New York, turn of the 20th century. Really, really beautiful. And the rest of the blurb is also very good. This is what I would expect to see, some kind of back cover copy. And I'm not going to be able to say these words correctly. I don't. Okay. Benigno Benny Caldera knows an orphan Boricua blacksmith in 1910 New York City can't call himself an artist, but the ironwork tank he creates for famed Coney Island playground Luna Park astounds everyone, especially the eccentric sideshow proprietor, excuse me, who commissioned it. Benny's work earns him an invitation to join the show's eclectic crew of performers, his first welcome in the city, and share in their astonishing secret. The tank Benny built is a cage for their newest exhibit, a living, breathing, in-the-flesh merman stolen from the banks of the East River under a gleaming full moon. That probably is what made these tools think our books were the same, because my book, Empty Sky, has the moon as a character, and here we have the gleaming full moon. So we have the concept of I'll look it up one more time, folks. We have the concept of the blurb, the pitch. What about but, then, except? I was taking a class offered by Masterclass by Aaron Sorkin via Masterclass. And one of the things he said, which just, boom, really got me, was you don't have a story unless you have but, then, else. Or a but, then, except, I should say. And I had to actually stop and really consider that, because it just really nailed me. A loss for words. Ooh, an author with a loss for words. Gotta love it. But, then, except. And consider, if you will, somebody's in 1910 New York. Okay, well, yeah, great. But something happens. So he's going to build this cage, except he discovers what's in the cage. Then he discovers what's in the cage, and except he falls in love. Now you have a story. And I thought that was so brilliant, because it so summarizes both what a story is and how to write a pitch and a blurb. But, then, except. Protagonist. But there's a challenge. There's the antagonist. There's the thwarting of the goal of the objective. Except here's a path towards it. And if you don't achieve the path, what are you going to do? I'm sharing this with you because I'm really having a challenge getting rid of all my old concepts of pitches and blurbs and working with this new model. And I'm, many thanks to Vanessa Vida Kelly, or whoever wrote that blurb, because it's brilliant. On your way to picking up my book, pick up hers as well. Maybe she'll send me a dime. Thank you. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye. And now I'm going to get the right window up to shut this down. Bye-bye.